Hello, gentlemen. How are you today?
Hey, good.
Well, how are you?
Fantastic. First and foremost, thank you so much for taking the time to do this today. I'm a huge fan, and it means a lot to be able to have just a little bit of your time.
Man,
Oh,
thank you so
yeah,
very
sure.
much.
So, second,
Mush-
congratulations on the release. Oh,
I'm loving the mushrooms with the bottoms on behind you or to your side.
that's a gift from my wife. When the pandemic hit, we were all forced at home, obviously. So I was fortunate enough to be able to broadcast from here. So I made a little at-home studio, but we live in a very, very old house. Doesn't have a lot of doors, and this was really the only way to kind of wall off was with a unique shower curtain. So this is like the fourth or
Oh,
fifth
nice.
one. For the longest time, it was a giant cat head with a taco and a slice of pizza. So in some ways, it all kind of speaks to kind of who I am as a person, which is a little scary, I think, sometimes.
Nice.
Gotta let that freak flag fly every now and then.
Absolutely. So congratulations are in order. Your ninth album, Can We Please Have Fun, is officially out and available everywhere. And I've got to say, man, it is amazing to have been able to sit back and watch you guys evolve and grow over the course of these nine albums. Each album feels like a chapter in a much larger story. And I think my favorite thing about Kings of Leon is with every album that comes out, there is that central thing, like the spine and the human body, that speaks so loudly about who you guys are. But with each album, it feels like you're pushing the outer edges of the envelope and growing and evolving. And I adore that.
Oh
Nice.
man.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like that's always something we try to do is just try to not make the same album twice, make, have something that makes it sound or feel a little bit different. And I think this one is right in line. It just has the like freshness to it, I guess.
Absolutely. And I feel the album title is apropos for where you guys are in your career. Can we please have fun? And it seems like you guys did have an absolute blast making this album. I think the video from Nowhere to Run exemplifies that in video form. And I just kind of wanted to see where you guys were at with the process of this because for the first time in a really long time, it does seem like all of you are having the times of your lives being Kings of Leon.
Yeah, man, it's this record going into it, we had no record label on this record, which was the first for us in our career. So I think we all just kind of took that approach going into this record, knowing that there wasn't that pressure put on us to have somebody come in at the very end and sit down and tell you what your singles are going to be or something like that. So we kind of going into this record, it was like, man, we have this freedom to make the record we want to make. And hopefully it'll have enough in it that label will eventually pick it up and we did not want to compromise what we had as a band. No matter what happens, we're going to make the record we want to make. And if it doesn't get picked up, we still made the record we wanted to make and, to have put out there for that time. So that just to be able to start the record without that pressure on us, that made it fun from the beginning right there. But just, man, the whole process from the writing of the record to getting a cottage and going out in the middle of nowhere and kind of just honing our craft and honing these songs. That was fun. Kid Harpoon, what an amazing sweetheart of a guy, amazing producer. He was able to. I hear a lot of people saying, this record has us going back to our youthful, like vigor, like this is like a young Kings of Leon. And we never really went into it with that, like, hey, let's make a record that makes us sound a lot younger than we really are, or make a record that could have came out, in 2005. I think Kid kind of subconsciously got that out of us. I think just made it so fun and did not seem like work to where that was just naturally what was coming out of us in the studio. And that felt so good to go home every night and not feel like you're just beat up from your brain, just having to overthink so much stuff. I would get home at night and couldn't wait to play the songs for my wife and my kids. But yeah, man, it was just we're all just in great headspaces and all family men now, and just yeah. Speaking for myself, funnest record I've ever made by far.
I love that. And seeing Kid Harpoon's name attached to the project before the album dropped was a like an incredible moment for me because he's touched some of my favorite Florence and the Machine stuff over the years. So my mind started to get into the space of, oh man, I wonder what Kid Harpoon's going to do with Kings of Leon. And the end result is everything that I kind of wanted and expected, but then so much more. You mentioned a lot of comparisons from the critics about going back to the early sound. And to me, I think that early sound has always been there. It's just always sort of been in metamorphosis of you guys growing and evolving as songwriters, as performers, as artists. And I love that this new album does speak to every era that Kings of Leon has sort of encompassed over the last 20-ish years. And the maturity that the album, I think, really personifies makes this, in my opinion, one of the most special albums in your back catalog.
Nice. People keep saying, yeah, that it sounds like old, like the Kings are back. It sounds like old Kings, and people don't realize that it's just because Caleb quit smoking. So we just we sound young again.
Well, that's something I most certainly have to work on myself, and maybe that'll clear up a little bit of this lower range in my voice. But it's great to have you guys back. I know you're getting ready to gear up and head out on the road this summer. I watched the Amazon Prime City sessions and seeing these new songs weaved into the classic favorites of Kings of Leon. Man, I can't wait for this tour because these songs seem to take on a life of their own live. How did it feel performing a lot of those songs for the first time publicly at that Amazon Prime City session?
It was so exciting. It was great. It's always great to play new songs, but something about these new songs, people are really connecting with. Um, yeah, and we're just so excited to tour them. It really makes touring, fun and doable. Be able to have some new material, and then especially getting that response from the fans. It's kind of what we tour for. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
seeing I mean all the comments from people that haven't didn't we haven't played any shows live other than that Amazon one yet, but how many people are saying I cannot wait to hear these songs live?
Mhm.
That to me makes me feel like okay, we achieved what we wanted to, because if you can make it to where they listen to it on a record and then they're like, oh my God, that sounds great like that. But live, when it has more room to breathe, it's just going to be so much more grandiose. And that is such a refreshing thing for me to have our fans excited to not only have the physical copy of it, but to can't wait to buy a ticket to our concert when we come to their town, which that's all you ever want, is for the fans to like the music enough to want to come see it live and support you.
That's awesome. And I look forward to being able to catch you guys for, I believe, will be the fifth time live on this upcoming tour. So, uh, love seeing you guys live. There's nobody, in my opinion, that holds down that rock and roll sort of stage the way you guys do, and you do it with such grace and precision. It's always a pleasure to see you guys out on the road. Do want to wrap up with one last question. And in watching that city session, you guys mentioned Halloween parties at the mansion. So two-part question. A, do those still happen annually? And B, if they do, how does one garner an invite to that Halloween party?
No,
Well,
it doesn't happen anymore. And I'm so sad about it. That was like that was such a fun thing we did. But no, we sold the place, and then COVID happened, and then we haven't found a new place to party. But
we'll
probably
we'll
should.
revive the actual party will get revived. The location will change. Yeah, like Matt said, when we bought our studio, our old studio, there was this amazing mansion, like old from the 1800s. And we're like, we want to buy that and make that a studio. And they're like, well, that's not for sale. And then later those people sold and they came to us and we're like, hey, we know y'all were interested. And we're like, yes, we definitely want to buy it. Still thinking we'd probably turn it into a studio. We had it for 4 years and we used it 4 nights in 4 years, Halloween 4 times, and that was it. But it was so cool after the first Halloween party. We're like, this place was built for this. Like, we can't do anything else here. This has to be it. So who knows? Maybe one day this record does really good. Maybe we'll buy the mansion back just to have the Halloween parties.
I didn't watch that Amazon interview. I was wondering if they mentioned about the Halloween party, so that's cool.
It's right at the very beginning. So it's one of those things where Halloween's obviously, you can kind of tell, my favorite holiday. It's my wedding anniversary. So like
Nice.
it's that seminal day, man. And it's great to know that you guys also have that enthusiasm for Halloween. I know we're running a little bit behind. I don't want to eat up any more of your time. I just want to say thank you once again for taking this time to chat with me and our listeners today. And once again, congratulate you on what I think is going to be at the top of a lot of people's list for Album of the Year 2024. It's called Can We Please Have Fun? It's available everywhere now. Nathan, Matthew, thank you so much for today.
Yeah,
Thank you
man.
so
Thank
much,
you.
brother. We'll see you in Syracuse.
Let's hope so, man. Fingers crossed.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
Take care, gents. Thank you.